welcome into another edition of Make Every Second Count Live with me, your host and international award-winning Make Every Second Count speaker. Now, I'm excited to say that every time I get to say that, but it's true. I really am. So, but I ask you guys if you would please share this video out. Invite all kinds of people to watch it. And don't forget to give us all kinds of thumbs up, hearts, frowny faces, cry faces. Hey, you can even get mad at us. I don't care. Just help us trick the algorithm on any of the socials that we're on. And then also keep the comments coming. We want to have more of a conversation than just make a presentation. So keep them coming. Ask as many questions as you would like. If I think they are good questions, I will ask the guests those. So with no further ado, I would like to bring to the stage Miss Elizabeth. Hello, Elizabeth. How are you this evening?
I'm great, Jeff. Thank you so much for inviting me on.
Yes, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I'm honored that you took the time out of your busy evening to be with me and my peeps. So,
It's my pleasure.
if you would like to go through a short introduction, tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and what you do, I would appreciate it.
Well, thanks so much, Jeff. My name is Elizabeth Kipp. I live in Lawrence, Kansas, right in the geographic center of the country in the United States. And I'm a stress management and historical trauma specialist, addiction recovery coach, ancestor clearing teacher, yoga teacher. It sounds like a lot of things. It's really underneath the umbrella of stress management.
That's cool. I know stress is one of those things that gets out of hand with people. So I understand that it is important and the world needs stress management. So I know personally because when I was 17, I was involved in a serious car accident. I spent 3.5 months in the hospital and 2.5 in a coma. I wasn't supposed to be walking right now, but I am each and every day. And I'm so appreciative of just being able to walk. But now I want to help people get through what they go through. And I think it is important that they grow through what they go through, or they're not going to get through what they go through. And they could just keep repeating cycles of that same thing. And I don't want the world to be stuck in that. So, has there been anything that you have had to grow through?
Oh my goodness. Yes, I was a chronic pain sufferer for 40 years. And um, that was really created quite a stress habit in the nervous system. Um, I had an accident when I was 14 and broke the fifth lumbar on my spine,
Ugh.
and it went undiagnosed and for 7 years, and it went on no surgery for another 7 years, and then we had 4 surgeries to stabilize because it slipped. It broke front to back, so the front part of it slipped forward and pulled the leg nerves with it, and the doctors were concerned that it would slip all the way. So we it just took a few times of different kinds of stabilization techniques to get the right combination, and finally they built I'm kind of a bionic woman. They built a cage around like a metal cage around my spine there where the slip is, Anyway, it caused a lot of pain, all of it. Even after the surgery, the pain was worse, and their answer was opiates and benzodiazepines.
Yeah.
They didn't have any other answer. And here's the thing: they said I wouldn't heal from chronic pain.
Yeah.
And I thank God I had a science background, because I understood something about what they were telling me. They were telling me, I knew that they were operating in a model, and that the model had limitations, and that science can only comment on that which can observe, measure, and describe, and doctors live in that.
Yeah.
Western medicine lives in that framework. But we live in the all that is, not just in the part that science can observe, measure, and describe. So we heal in the all that is. And I knew I was going to have to widen my view, my perspective, in order to heal. And I finally did find a doctor, Dr. Peter Prescott, who wrote this beautiful book, Conquer Chronic Pain,
Wow.
An Innovative Mind Body Approach. He passed away in 2016, but he left this beautiful book. He understood the nature of chronic pain, and he was an Eastern and Western trained doctor. So he brought a very holistic program, and he helped me get off all those medications. I went into his program of 40 years of chronic pain, and I walked out 52 days later with no pain.
Wow. Now that is really cool.
Yeah, I know. And it wasn't like I was so special. He had a 94% success rate in that program, and every
Wow.
person in his program was on some kind of pain medication, and had a chronic pain issue. And for the audience, I know you know what it is, but for the audience, chronic pain is any pain that's felt 15 days out of 30 for 3 months or more. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, it all sends the same signal to the brain: it hurts. So a broken bone that doesn't heal, and a broken heart, same signal to the brain. The brain can't tell the difference between one and the other.
So all right. So when you're going through this guy's program, do you just reframe that pain as something else, or how can I? Well, you might not want to give all this away, but how can I explain this to somebody that has no idea?
Yeah, well, everybody knows what pain is,
Yeah.
right? Now, here's the thing that's interesting about pain, at least in the Western world. When we're little and we're in the playground, and we bump into one another, right? Somebody starts crying. What happens? The adults in the area rush in,
Yeah.
and they do everything they can to make sure that that pain goes away as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Don't cry, all the things, right? So what's the subtext of that? The subtext of that is pain is bad.
Yeah.
We're at war with pain. So nobody ever said pain is part of healing.
Wow. I've never heard that, but I like that. Yes, I know, but I always said that pain is your reward. It's there to show you that you are alive. And without that pain, you wouldn't know you are alive.
That's
because
true.
that pain is making you actually notice that you're alive. I like that, but I like yours too.
Thanks. So understanding that, you asked how could you explain this to somebody who doesn't know anything about it? And I'm saying everybody knows that we're at war with pain. Everybody knows that, right?
Yeah.
So this is what happened when I got in Dr. Prescott's program. So he helped me detox off the medications. I land in his classroom after 12 days, and The first thing he says, I couldn't believe he said this. The first thing he said was, "What are you doing to contribute to your pain?" And I was like, in my mind, I'm just telling you what my attitude was in the moment. I was like, I can't believe he just said that in
Yeah.
this room full of chronic pain sufferers. He doesn't have a chronic pain. What is wrong with this guy? I was like, the pain is doing it to me. I'm a victim in this thing. So I went right into defensive victim mode. And, that's the way I've been living for 40 years. So, and that's the way all the other doctors were treating it. So why wouldn't I? I get halfway through that tantrum I'm having in my head. And I was like, hang on a minute. What did he just say? He just asked me what I was doing to contribute to my pain.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a
That could
minute.
mean multiple things. Like, what are you doing? Like not exercising? Are you eating the wrong things? That could mean many different things.
Well, what it meant was, to me in the moment, was, oh, I have a role in this. I'm not completely a victim to it. I actually have a role in this experience I'm having with pain. And as soon as he took me in one question, he took me from victim to empowerment. And he had my attention right away. So that was the first question he asked. And the second question, or the second thing he said, which also brought the hair up on the back of my neck, he said, "Don't judge the moment." And I was like, in my head, I said to myself, dude, I'm just sitting here minding my own business. I'm not judging anyone, right? Because I'm just saying I can be a little feisty, right? And I was very defensive. That's me being defensive.
You feisty? What are you talking about?
So I went, oh my God, he's talking about my pain. I've been judging my pain as bad my whole life. And it's just information. It's not good or bad. It's information. So what am I going to do with it? Right. And that's where he started. So that was a very powerful beginning. And now you can see why he also taught us how to breathe. He helped us with some adversity therapy, clearing some of our emotional stuff. I already had a meditation practice, but he taught meditation, which is very powerful for chronic pain. So he took us through a holistic. Also, there was ancestral clearing. We did ancestral clearing, the lineage, the things that we carried, the burdens from the lineage. We did that, which I do that now as part of my practice. So he had a full program, all of it equally effective. And so this is why he had a 94% success rate with people that had this history of chronic pain and this habit in the nervous system. And he was able to help them clear it so quickly.
Yeah. That is really cool. So I'm curious, like when you were going through the pain, I know how that made you feel. You hurt, but like when you finally came out of that chronic pain, how did that make you feel?
Well, that's kind of a loaded question. That's not an easy answer. First of all, I kind of came in to this life with the gift of gratitude. I didn't think it up. I always had it. Even as a little kid, I always had gratitude. So I kind of have that vibe. Even though I'm a victim, I'm still grateful. I can always find something I'm grateful for. So that's a great leveler. But what was happening was I developed a chronic stress habit in the nervous system, and that fed the chronic pain. So when I got out of Dr. Prescott's program, he had us call. He didn't want to be called doctor. He had us called by his first name.
That's funny.
He was so cool. Anyway, when I got out of his program, I didn't have any more physical pain, but I still had the stress habit. And I had been, remember, I'd been on opiates for, I think I mentioned I'd been on opiates and benzodiazepines for 31 years.
Yeah.
So
wow.
That will really suppress the emotional. And I had a lot of emotional burden that I just had suppressed my whole life because of the way I was raised. So when I got, fully alive, all those emotions and came fully alive, and the stress habit came fully alive as well. And I thank God I had the tools that he taught, because that was how I found some stability in my recovery and was able to find my way through that adjustment from being super suppressed to being fully freaking alive. And now what do I do with all this stuff? You go from like a very kind of low energy state to a very high energy state, and that is that's unbalanced. So his program really helped. I had to work it, but his program really helped me find balance. The interesting thing, Jeff, is that I'll be clean 12 years in a few weeks. Yeah.
Congratulations. Guys, I need you to do me a favor, because we need to celebrate 12 years of sobriety for her. So I would like you guys to please put a number 12 in the comments. I appreciate that.
Awesome.
I'm so proud of you for that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone. So I every day I have this practice that I do, that I'm still retraining my nervous system and reminding my nervous system, this is how we're doing life. We're not doing it all wound up. We're doing it regulated, and we're doing it on purpose, and we're doing it consciously and to the extent that I can. So I'm a work in progress. But Peter said when thank you, Robert. Peter said when I left the program, he said, "You're not just a recovering addict," because he was referring to the drugs I was on. "You're a recovering chronic pain patient. Make sure you take care of both of them, and use the tools every day for the rest of your life." And that's the recipe.
Yeah. All right. Here's another one, probably a stumper for you. So
I love that.
What did pain teach you?
Oh my Lord. It taught me how strong and powerful I am at resisting what is. I am a fighter. Oh my God. I can, oh my God. Yeah. So I know I learned that I was my own worst enemy in that space. I also learned a lot of compassion. And I also learned coming out of that, again, pain is information. And I had tried to work that when I was in the experience. I didn't want to befriend the pain. I didn't want to make it an enemy. I tried to keep it as neutral as I could. That's easier said than done when you're in it, right? Because of the effect it has on the brain. It has such an effect on the emotional center in the brain. We become very negative. And so, having a gratitude, that gratitude piece was very helpful for me, because of that negative mind, it's hard on self-esteem. It's hard on self-worth. It's hard on motivation. There's a lot of things that play into that. Yeah. So I learned I learned, I really learned to find, I learned that pain was information. And one of my teachers and good friends, Guruprem Singh Khalsa, says this. He says, pain is the currency of transformation. Be careful how you spend it.
Wow.
I know.
Wow, that's crazy.
Right.
That's interesting.
So those are the things that it taught me. Also, it really kicked up my patience game.
Yeah.
Like I learned to have massive patience. The other thing, it's kind of hard to explain, but I had some experiences with pain that were so profound, and I experienced as so on the edge, that I really always have felt held by, like a higher power, creator, divine source, whatever you want to call all that made all of this.
Yeah.
And that experience really helped me deepen my experience of that.
Yeah. Well, we do have 2 questions here.
Right.
And
Oh,
this one says, Elizabeth, why did it take you 32 years to find non-pharmaceutical
yeah,
ways to stop the drug addiction? What changed the philosophy and mindset?
yeah. Thanks so much, Ben Bruce. So all the doctors, the prescribing doctors that were around me, they all said I couldn't heal from chronic pain. There was no, their only answer was opiates and benzos. And I knew I had to keep looking because I knew that I was sitting in a limited model. But it just took me a long time to find Peter, to find Dr. Prescott, because but Dr. Prescott was doing a cutting edge work at the time. And if you look at chronic pain and how they're looking at it now, there's a lot more integrated. He was a lot more integrated pain management programs than there were then. And so
Yeah.
I just happened to be living with that in a period where the paradigm, the understanding, the model the doctors were working under was we can't heal it. And I had a yoga practice. I had a yoga teacher. She kept me limber, but it didn't help clear the pain. I actually had to go through Peter's program. And he used Qigong, which is similar to yoga. It's just different application of energy techniques. But yeah, well, I needed a holistic model, but I also needed to get off the medication. And none of the doctors around me had that as an option. And they didn't, even my prescribing doctor was like, his answer was, well, if you want to get off the meds, we'll put you in a coma. And I was like, okay, well, how many people have you done that with? And no, none. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to be your guinea pig. So it was a blessing that I found Dr. Prescott, because this was a specialty of his, getting people off this combination of benzo and opiate. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have a question from Adam, and I don't normally ask questions like this. They seem a little personal, but is that a turban or is that your actual hair?
Okay, so this is my hair. This is a head wrap.
Right.
And no, I'm not a Buddhist. I'm a practicing yogi, but that's a spiritual practice. That's not Buddhism, really. No, I'm not a Buddhist.
All right.
It's a great question, though.
But I don't normally ask questions like that because it's kind of personal.
No problem.
You could have said like, "Oh, well, I have cancer. I'm in chemo or something."
No, this is my actual hair.
Yeah, well, I realized that, but the thing I just wasn't sure of.
Yeah.
And Ben Bruce says, "Thanks for the explanation."
Mm-hmm. Sure thing.
And then Robert says, "That's a wrap."
That's right. That's a wrap. That's it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So I have a question that I like to ask in this show that isn't on the list of questions that we are going to talk about, but what exactly does make every second count mean to you?
It means stay on target, stay on mission, stay
Stay
on
on
mission.
mission.
Yeah.
And what are you calling mission?
Yeah, that's a great question. How did I even get there? So I had some near death experiences, and every time I had one, I had three, and each time it happened, I don't really talk about this too much because I don't want to be known as the NDE person. I just like I don't want to be known for that, but I'm just saying because you asked the question
Sorry.
about mission. I remember the thing that happened. The same thing happened each time, all three times. I was in this place, and there was this being in the front, kind of sitting in the front, and then there were all these beings behind this being, and I recognized all of them. I couldn't see their faces, but I recognized them all. That was interesting. Right. I was like, remember science here. I've got all the science in my background. So very interesting. Like, wow, this is cool.
Wow, that's cool.
And the other thing was the love that was there was, I can't even, and I'm a poet and I have got no words for that. It's just like,
you're a poet and you know it.
So, but here's what happened. I was like, I'm not ready for this. I talked to this being and I said, he didn't tell me anything. He just sat there. I said, I'm not ready for this. I have to complete my mission. I have to go back. And I came back. And that happened 3 times. Now, this is the thing that's interesting about what you just said. I got back here and I actually could not have told you what my mission was. I just knew that I needed to complete it. And the best way that I know how to describe what my mission is to follow my heart.
Wow. Follow your heart.
So that's the answer to your question.
that seems very simplistic, but it's also very complex at the same time.
You better
because how does someone follow their heart?
I know. Yeah, I know. I actually do. Part of my yoga practice is very heart-centered physical practices to help. We work the arms, and I do breath work to help open up the heart chakra area. I do ancestral clearing, which is a prayer practice that helps clear any burden that I'm carrying around issues around that. And it's hard to describe because you're asking me to explain things in words that come from the mind, and the heart doesn't speak in words. It speaks in a different language. Wow. And you know what, Jeff? I'm still trying to learn the language. Yeah. And I've had this heart.
You don't speak that language?
So I'm still every day I learn more about the language of the heart, right? But it has been its yearnings and there's kind of a following the heart. What does that mean? So if I'm deciding something or I'm about to move in a certain direction, some people will call this intuition, but I think the heart and intuition are very similar. They're connected for sure. If it's the wrong direction or inappropriate in the moment, I'll feel a contraction. I'll feel like I feel kind of like a contraction in my being. And if it's the right move, I feel a flow and an expansion. So there's a relaxation and an expansion, and that's about as close as I can get.
Yeah. Um, I have to point out here that my dad made a great comment.
Funny.
You can follow your heart, but it will be in vain. That's
That's hilarious.
kind of creative.
That's
Um,
hilarious.
we have another question. I know it's past our time already, but oh well. What are the benefits of following one's heart?
It keeps me out of trouble.
Oh, I don't know. That seems like
Okay,
something that is hard for you.
so that would be yeah, I guess this would take a whole nother podcast, but no, I'm not talking about codependent love. I'm talking about unconditional love. And when I'm tapped into that, I just can't go wrong.
Yeah. Wow. That's wow. That literally just rocked the whole world. So we have one other question that I feel is important. Um oh, all right, here. Oh, darn it. Here we go. What
Oh,
are the key factors when it comes to stress management? Just give us 3 real quick ones.
um, breath. You
Breath.
want to use the breath, leverage the power of the breath. That's number one. Number two is meditation practice. It helps to calm the mind. It'll help clear the effects of the brain on chronic pain. It'll help clear the negative effects of a brain on chronic pain. And love yourself. Compassion.
That is great advice. I love that because breath and compassion are a huge benefit for everybody. So I need everybody out there, including you, Elizabeth, to do me a favor this week, next week, and for the rest of your life. I need you to make every second count.
Okay.
Why? Because you never know when those seconds will run out on your one life. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And until then, you have a great week. Thank you again, Elizabeth. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Good night, everyone.
This takes a long time. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay. That's all right. Is this Riverside?